Yeah, that's right. Don't talk about those Venezuelan gangs, baby. No, 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 no. All right, MS-13. Or all the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants, who are on welfare, who are getting a free education, who are getting free medical care. They always talk about the lettuce pickers. Have you noticed? We could have 400 million people come into this country. You know, who's going to pick the lettuce? First of all, I don't like lettuce, but that doesn't matter. Who's going to pick the lettuce? Who's going to pick the lettuce? I mean, we just let 20 million people in here. 325,000 kids are missing. Women are missing. Who's going to pick the lettuce? Over on the Constipated News Network, CNN, they've just laid off a bunch of people. And I'm happy to say Jim Acosta just, he basically committed Harry Carey there over at CNN. In fact, that they said to Jim Acosta, you're so fantastic, we're moving you to midnight. Midnight? Yes, midnight. Now, here's the thing. Honest to God, if Fox were to say to me, we're moving you to midnight, I would almost celebrate it. Because we would turn that midnight slot into a hot, hot show. You look at Johnny Carson was doing, 11? He started doing 11 p.m. Eastern time. And they used to do it for an hour and a half, till 12:30, and then he did it for an hour, and then he moved to the West Coast. But 11 p.m. was a terrible slot. And I'm just saying, you could actually turn it into something, but in the case of Acosta, they weren't sending him there because he's brilliant or he's innovative. They're sending him there because he's an idiot and he's a leftist and he gets no ratings. Now, if you're on CNN and you get no ratings in the movie, you must be bad because nobody gets ratings here. You must be really, really terrible. So they move Acosta out, and then he claims effectively that they did this because of the authoritarian, Donald Trump. And he says, and I should know because my family escaped Cuba. That's what Bernie Sanders says. They escaped Cuba, and I'm the child of these refugees. And I think to myself, wow, you really are sick. You're the child of people who escaped communism, and you don't really know tyranny when you see it. And he would call Trump racist, authoritarian, a supremacist, on and on and on and on. And he wonders why. Why am I being moved to midnight? That's why, you dimwit. And so where will he show up now? They said on Subtrack or Subtac or something or other. None of us know about this stuff. I thought he might show up on airport radar or on a sonogram, because there's nothing lower than CNN. Where are you going to go? I guess like Chris Matthews, you can pretend you're doing a TV show in your basement, but I don't know what these guys do. Anyway, Stephen Miller's on this program, which is pretty funny since we couldn't get Stephen Miller last week, but there he is with Jake Tapper, right, Mr. Producer? It's okay. It's okay. And there he is with fake Jake Tapper, Hamas's favorite host. And let's see what happens about the issue of immigration. Because we all know those poor murderers and rapists and pedophiles, they have rights too. But what about all the other people who didn't commit those offenses? What about them? Well, don't they get? No, they don't. That's our immigration law. See, we don't need bipartisan, immigration reform. We don't need any immigration reform. That's the law. Finally, it's been the law for like 80 years, 80 years under Democrats and Republicans, but all of a sudden. So I have a theory on this. If I'm a Democrat, why force these foreigners to find ways to come to America? Why don't we just issue citizenship certificates to everybody in the world? That way, we don't have to worry about it. We'd be border-free altogether, right? Everybody gets welfare. In other words, the whole thing collapses. Just get it over with. Go.
The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do.
Yeah, that's right. Don't talk about those Venezuelan gangs, baby. No, 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 no. All right, MS-13. Or all the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants, who are on welfare, who are getting a free education, who are getting free medical care. They always talk about the lettuce pickers. Have you noticed? We could have 400 million people come into this country. Who's going to pick the lettuce? First of all, I don't like lettuce, but that doesn't matter. Who's going to pick the lettuce? Who's going to pick the lettuce? I mean, we just let 20 million people in here. 325,000 kids are missing. Women are missing. Who's going to pick the lettuce? Go ahead.
So, How does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor.
Stop right there. That was great. Now, for the slow listeners, they missed that. He's saying, I'm sure that's not your position, thanks for the question, because he knows what kind of question is that. You're basically taking a position and putting a question mark after it. Go ahead.
I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small...
This is what you call being schooled. Go ahead.
Industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this. I'm explaining to you and your audience.
I don't have a 30. I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm explaining
you can come back
to you
and we
your
can talk
audience.
about the ones.
He just said that's 1%. He just said it. So he wants to keep going back to his number of 42%. Go ahead.
In the cities, I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in.
Stop. What he means is the people doing farm work are here on agricultural visas. We've got like 50 different types of visas. Student visas, agricultural visas, people who have advanced degrees, they have special visas. And so my wife was telling me this because she's worked in this field in the past. And so it's not like all these people are flooding the border and picking lettuce. They're desperate to pick lettuce. That's what. They're flooding the border. The women are being raped. The children are missing. Why? For the lettuce. The lettuce. Nobody even goes to McDonald's for the lettuce. Oh, it's the lettuce. And what he's explaining here is you're a liar. All those people flooding the border under Biden, they're not picking lettuce. The people who are picking lettuce are the people who have visas to do agricultural work. I don't oppose that. We're not talking about that. Go ahead.
From Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws, and as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
See, there are these guest worker, Trump uses them. My wife's well aware of them. Every lawyer in the immigration service, every lawyer who represents immigrants knows this to be the case. There's a guest worker program. They've been debating these H-1B visas. That's a special program and so forth. They're special visas. And you know what's funny about the vast majority of the visas? They're temporary. They're time limited. And so if you have one of these agriculture visas, you have an agriculture visa typically for the harvesting season or the planting season. It's not like, oh, I'll be here for 3 years. No, you won't. You'll be here for a specific purpose for a specific period of time. That has absolutely nothing to do with what Biden did. And did it seem by his body language that Jake Tapper gave a damn? No.
For all this and much more, sign up for LEVIN TV.